Nerdy for 30. We're keeping the Nerdy for 30 train right on a rolling as we unveil the Grand Master List. You could say it's the list that Hydra had of the rankings of the 30 films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, man. And we're just keeping this train on a rolling. We're one a day. We're working our way from 30 on up to number 1. So what are we talking about on today's Nerdy for 30? On today's Nerdy for 30, we got number 11, Spider-Man Homecoming. Directed by Jon Watts, the first of the Spider-Man trilogy. Check out this tagline. Homework can wait. The city can't. All right, B minus, C plus. Somewhere in there. There's something between B minus and C plus. That's what I would give it. A B minus minus is what this movie is. Following the events of Captain America Civil War, Peter Parker, with the help of his mentor Tony Stark, tries to balance his life as an ordinary high school student in Queens, New York City, with fighting crime as his superhero alter ego Spider-Man, as a new threat, the Vulture, emerges. A lot of people have movie issues with this movie, as you know, they say it is just as much an Iron Man, not an Iron Man story, but Iron Man heavily influences the events of this film because ties into Iron Man's past. A lot of people jokingly call this Spider-Man Iron Man Jr. or Iron Boy Jr. because Mr. Stark is the person that he looks up to. And I think it makes perfect sense that Peter, this nerdy high school kid, would look up to, you know, Tony Stark, who is the Marvel Cinematic Universe's greatest engineer and one of the best thinkers we've seen to date. Reed Richards hasn't shown up yet. Really-ish, not really fully has shown up yet. I think it would make perfect sense for Peter to idolize Tony Stark. And we know he's a superhero. Like, how cool is that? That Iron Man is a superhero. So it's like, oh, so you're dope with your brain and you're dope with being a superhero as well. It makes sense for Peter to look up to Tony, and we see that here in this movie. But still, he does have his own agency as Spider-Man. It's interesting to see, as Spider-Man is the only MCU character so far who has a secret, a hidden identity, which is a core part of who Spider-Man is as a character, I think. Michael Keaton as the Vulture is just great, delicious casting. We get 2 different Scorpions in here. You get the Tinkerer in this movie. You get the briefest hint of Miles Morales existing in the MCU, as Donald Glover is playing his Uncle Aaron, the guy with the ice cream in his trunk. We get a different take on an MJ, Michelle Jones instead of Mary Jane. I guess this is the universe right next door to the comic book universe. But yeah, it's a fun Spider-Man movie. I don't care what anybody says. This is still a great Spider-Man movie. The suit looks absolutely deliciously amazing. I think the suit in Spider-Man Homecoming is the best Spider-Man suit we've gotten to date in any iteration, and that includes all 1,000 suits that Marvel has created so far. It's a good, fun movie. It's great to show him trying to struggle with that balance, because that's kind of part of the Spider-Man identity. Some people like their Peter Parker when he suffers. I'm one of them. But that is it for today's Nerdy for 30. We'll be back in 24 of the hours, man. Keep this train right on a rolling right here on Pop Rico.